Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Uzma Jafri. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Thursday, the 8th of June. Indian Prime Minister arrives in Kazakhstan to attend SCO summit. Students allege government in Pakistani Kashmir controlled by Islamabad. And Nepal's parliament endorses First Amendment Bill of Local Level Election Act. And now for all the details. Indian security forces combated a spate of militant attacks in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir on Thursday. At least 3 militants and 1 Indian soldier were killed.
At least 3 militants and 1 Indian Army soldier were killed on Thursday during an encounter in Jammu and Kashmir's Naugam sector. Meanwhile, 2 Indian Army soldiers were injured in an encounter in Uri sector of Baramulla district of the province. Indian Army troops moved into the area on receiving intelligence about the movement of 5 to 6 militants who had infiltrated from across the border. When the militants opened fire on the troops, 2 of the soldiers were injured. In a separate incident, at least 12 personnel of India's paramilitary Central Reserve Police Force or the CRPF were injured when their vehicle overturned during a stone pelting incident in Jammu and Kashmir Shopian district late on Wednesday evening. The personnel have since been discharged from hospital after treatment. The valley has been in the throes of unrest over the last few months.
Meanwhile, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived at Kazakhstan capital Astana on Thursday. He will participate in the 2-day Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit, where India will become a full member of the organization.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived at Kazakhstan capital Astana on Thursday to participate in the 2-day-long Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit. Shanghai Cooperation Organization was set up in 2001 with the goal to foster security cooperation between the member nations. Prime Minister Modi, upon his arrival, met Kazakhstan President Nursultan Nazarbayev and held bilateral talks for boosting ties between the two nations. Kazakhstan is India's largest trading partner in Central Asia, and the total trade volume between the two countries rose from $120 million to around $900 million in recent years. In Astana, Prime Minister Modi is also expected to hold bilateral talks with leaders on the sidelines of the SCO summit.
Moving on, lack of political autonomy in Pakistan-administered Kashmir has been one of the primary reasons for the backward status of the region. Students from the disputed territory laid bare the political structure that is under the control of Pakistan.
The political framework of Pakistan-administered Kashmir is under the control of the federal government of Islamabad. Locals allege due to the absence of a legitimate democratic structure, there is large-scale corruption in the government sector. A student from the occupied territory highlighted how the strings of the local government have always been pulled by Islamabad.
हमारा वजीर आज़म भी यहाँ से किसी गवर्नमेंट के एक फेडरल मिनिस्टर के या वजीर आज़म के किसी सेक्रेटरी के कहने पर कश्मीर में तबादले करे या कश्मीर का सारा पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम चलाए, ये इस तरह का सिस्टम कश्मीर में अगर चलता रहा.
Lack of employment opportunities due to illegal appointments by officials has prevented the youth of the region from bringing development in the region. There are very few development projects in the region and education is in a state of sheer neglect.
कि आप ना हमें आईजी बनने देते हैं कश्मीर के, आईजी की बात आती है, आपका बात पाकिस्तान से आता है, ठीक है, ठीक है. आपने बात की चीफ सेक्रेटरी आपका पाकिस्तान से आप भेजते हैं हमारे पास कश्मीर में.
Even though Pakistan-administered Kashmir has an elected Prime Minister and President, most of the key powers, including taxation, are controlled by the government in Islamabad.
In news from Afghanistan, A top Jamiat-e-Islami party leader has called for early polls to replace what he called the incompetent system and fix the deteriorating situation in Afghanistan. This comes after a series of terror attacks that hit capital city Kabul, in which over 150 people have been killed.
A top member of Afghanistan Jamiat-e-Islami party, Ismail Khan, has called for early elections in the country, alleging that the Afghan government has failed the people following a series of deadly terror attacks in Kabul last week. He also called on the international community to stop funding the Afghan government, which he said has failed to fix the deteriorating situation and other issues of national interest. Tensions between the government and Jamiat-e-Islami party have deepened after the presidential palace defied the party's call for National Security Advisor Hanif Atmar to step down.
خود از مردم افغانستان از دست داده است. چی خوب است که جامعه جهانی به خصوص امریکا مناسب است که در پهلوی ملت افغانستان استاد باشه.
Khan said that removal of officials from their posts will not change anything and instead suggested holding early elections in the country or hold Loya Jirga to replace what he described as an incompetent system. He called on the government to swiftly act upon the demands tabled by Jamiat, warning that there would be fallout if government defies the party's recommendations and demands.
Moving on to news from Nepal. Nepal's parliamentary meeting on Thursday passed the first amendment bill of the Local Level Election Act. The passing of the bill paves way for Madhes-based parties, including the Rashtriya Janata Party Nepal, to take part in the second phase of the local polls slated for June 28. The amended act has a mandatory provision of political parties to submit the signatures of parties' officers to the Election Commission 15 days prior to the day of filing the candidacy. The time frame, which was mentioned in the act, was omitted in the first amendment. The long-time agitating Rashtriya Prajatantra Party had been demanding since long the amendment of that provision. Newly sworn-in Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Home Affairs Janardhan Sharma presented the amendment bill in the Parliament. Staying on news from Nepal, Nepal's Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba took office with high expectations and responsibilities on Wednesday. However, dispute has aroused over ministerial portfolio allocation and factional feud has even surfaced in his party, the Nepali Congress.
Nepali Congress chief Sher Bahadur Deuba on Wednesday sworn in as the 40th Prime Minister of Nepal. He formed his cabinet by inducting 7 ministers, including 3 deputy prime ministers. According to reports, Nepali Congress leader Ramchandra Podal has expressed his satisfaction with the cabinet, saying it was formed unilaterally without discussing names of the party leaders. With too many aspirations for ministerial berths, Deuba could face pressure from coalition partners. Other challenges on the national front includes completing the job half done by his predecessor Pushpa Kamal Dahal.
In news from Sri Lanka, Sri Lankan Foreign Minister has said that his country's move to join China's One Belt, One Road infrastructure initiative was a decision taken on the basis of its foreign policy. He also dismissed the local opposition to Chinese projects as dissent.
Sri Lankan Foreign Minister Ravi Karunaнаike on Wednesday said that his country's decision to join China's One Belt, One Road or OBOR infrastructure initiative was on the basis of its foreign policy. Karunaнаike, who was in New Delhi on his first visit as foreign minister, also dismissed the local opposition to Chinese projects in his country as dissent, pointing that such agitations represent only a minimal faction and are not country-specific.
Given those a fractional opposition that is there, you do have this democracy that prevails. So I don't think the noise makes it any difficult, but it only gives opportunity for everybody to give their dissenting view. At the end of the day, they can have their say, but the government has their way.
On trust restoration and solving prevailing fishermen issue between India and Sri Lanka, he said that 42 out of 142 Indian boats have been released. He also said that talks of handing rest of boats were also being discussed with the Indian government.
Moving on, in a unique expression of devotion, devotees offered 11,000 mangoes of different varieties to a Hindu deity at a temple in Western India on Wednesday.
In a gift fit for the kings, 11,000 mangoes of different varieties were offered to Hindu deity Lord Krishna at a temple in India's western Vadodara city on Wednesday. The offering was made by members of a community as part of the tradition to make varied offerings to the Lord every season. The offerings include seasonal fruits. The temple was packed with hundreds of devotees who came in to witness the massive offering and pray for the well-being of their families.
आज इस अवसर पर विशेष रूप से ऋतु के अनुसार सेवा का क्रम पुष्टि संप्रदाय की एक विशेषता है। अभी जिस प्रकार की ऋतु चल रही है, उस गर्मी की ऋतु में प्रभु श्री द्वारकाधीश प्रभु को अनेक मंदिरों में केरी महोत्सव का आयोजन निर्धारित किया है। हमारे यहाँ वृक्षों को भगवान के भक्त के रूप में स्वीकार किया है। अनेकों वृक्ष के उन फलों को आज प्रभु के चरणों में समर्पित करके उन वृक्षों के इस फलों को प्रभु कृतार्थ करें, यही भावना से इस भोग का क्रम विशेष रूप से लिया गया है।
A yellow carpet was laid out for the deity as baskets containing ripened mangoes were placed before him.
Thousands of devotees thronged India's southern Madurai city on Wednesday to attend a festival which marks the birth of Tamil deity Murugan.
Thousands of devotees gathered for Vaikasi Vaisakam festival in India's southern Madurai city on Wednesday to mark the birth of Tamil deity Murugan. Devotees, including women and children, took out a procession carrying pots filled with milk on their head to the Subramanya Swami temple in the city for holy rituals. Several devotees also pierced their bodies to show their devotion to Lord Murugan, Goddess Vali and Goddess Devanai.
On this auspicious day, we are praying our God, Lord Muruga, to give our farmers the good rain, and it helps us to give a good harvesting in this auspicious year.
There are several legends related to the temple. It is one of the 6 main pilgrimage sites dedicated to Lord Murugan, also known as Subramanya, the Tamil Hindu god of war and patron of Tamil Nadu.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Indian Prime Minister arrives in Kazakhstan to attend SCO summit. Students allege government in Pakistani Kashmir controlled by Islamabad. And Nepal's parliament endorses First Amendment Bill of Local Level Election Act. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.